I'm here with a makeup tutorial. I hope you can tell by the fact that I have nothing on my eyes right now. I have a feeling this intro is going to go long, so if you don't want to hear it and you want to get right to the makeup tutorial, if you go into the description box where it says show more, if you're watching on a desktop, there will be timestamps at the top of the description box. You just click on the one next to makeup tutorial and you'll jump right ahead. My feelings will not be hurt. All right, so as to this makeup look that doesn't exist yet, this was inspired by one of my favorite YouTubers. Her name is Allie Janszen. She is huge on YouTube and she is just lovely. I've never met her. I don't know her in real life, but I so enjoy watching her videos because, well, for many reasons. First of all, she's just lovely to watch. She comes across as such a sweet, lovely, kind, enthusiastic about makeup person. That didn't make sense grammatically, but you know what I mean. Her love of makeup just shines through. I love the approachability of her makeup looks. Even though some of them look very complicated, she breaks them down for you. And that's the big thing. She's still doing makeup tutorials. Nobody does makeup, very few people still do makeup tutorials. And that's the reason I started watching YouTube over a decade ago, is because I wanted to learn how to put on makeup. I'm still learning, we're all still learning. But I love the knowledge that Allie passes along. She uses a variety of makeup from drugstore to high-end. Her looks are attainable, they are wearable, and we have similar coloring, at least skin tone and eye color, so the colors that she uses for the most part on herself, I have a feeling will be complementary to myself as well. So in one of her fairly recent videos, as of filming this, she announced that she was doing a collaboration with ColourPop. And I watched the video, I watched the tutorial, and I immediately, I ordered through her link before I finished the video because I had been thinking about getting the That's Taupe palette from ColourPop for a while, and it was just one of those things I kept meaning to do and didn't, and this is included in the bundle. Now, if that bundle exactly is still available, I will link that specifically down in the description box. I will list all the products that I used today, the products I already have on, so if you are interested in looking into any of them, purchasing them, or you just want to know what I used, please click on the show more if you're on a desktop. I will also link to Allie's original video because what I'm going to do here is try to recreate the look she did on her 20-something-year-old face on an almost 50-year-old face. So, different skin, different age, different, like just a lot of differences, not completely the same eye shape. So I want to show you a very glamorous look that was done on her and see if that will work on me. Now, I already did my face, all of my complexion, and I will list that down in the description box. I did use pretty much everything that she used. I used the ColourPop foundation and concealer and highlighter. I don't have a ColourPop bronzer. I did purchase a ColourPop blush, one of those kind of Super Shock ones. I love the color, but I feel like it picks up my foundation. So I also want to point out before we get to the tutorial that I like the Pretty Fresh foundation from ColourPop. It's what I'm wearing, but I found it got really dewy throughout the day. I have been wearing this new primer from Colleen Rothschild. It's the Black Tourmaline Primer, and it's supposed to mattify but still lock in moisture. And so I've been wearing this under the foundations that I love that dewy look, but they get too shiny throughout the day. And so far it is working like a charm. Just want to let you know it's a new release. Obviously the star of the show included in her bundle is this That's Taupe eyeshadow palette. We will be using, I think, 5 or 6 of these shades. I am pretty certain that if you have the Natasha Denona Glam palette, you can approximate this look. It's rare that I will suggest duping a palette by using a high-end palette, but I know a lot of you have the Glam palette, so if you have that, follow along. So the first thing she did, which is pretty much the same thing that I do for all of my looks, is she laid down a crease slash transition shade, and in this case, it is the shade Boa right here. Now this is definitely a more cool toned palette, which is also something I rarely go for. So it's kind of fun to get out of my comfort zone. Now something that I have to deal with that Allie kind of has, but not as badly as me, is hooded eyes. And a new kind of trick I finally picked up is when you're putting on your eyeshadow, instead of going head on like that with the brush, point it up and push it up into that hood so you make sure you get your color placed up there. So I'm just gonna go back and forth. It's in the crease, but I'm really pushing it up into the transition area. And I'm doing the full length of the eye. And I will do the same to the other side. Next, she went in with more of a crease color and an outer V shade, and it is this shade here, Python. And I'm using a MAC 217. And what she did was she kind of put it along the lash line She did not use this brush. I don't have the brush that she used. And then she brought it up. So she's really shading not just the outer V, but she shaded the outer third, I would say. And she pushed it up into that transition a little bit and moved it into the crease. And these really do blend very nicely. Again, because I have more of a hooded eye, I am making sure I go above the actual crease, push it up into that hood area, and blend it in so that it's actually visible when I open my eye. Now, something I'm doing differently than Allie did is she did her eye makeup first and then she did her face makeup, her complexion products, which is what she always does pretty much. Very rarely does she deviate from that. We are creatures of habit. I always do my face first. It makes me anxious to go the other way around. So I'm gonna do it my way. Okay, next, it's time for the shimmer shade, and we're gonna use this guy right here. This is Constrictor, and she used her finger, which I can do as well. It's so buttery, creamy, soft. And she started close to the lash line with the pigment, and then as there was less on her finger, moved it farther up. So I'm going to do the same thing. That's what it looks like. Isn't this beautiful? Look at that shade, it's so pretty. Okay, so we're patting, pat, 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 pat. If you smudge it around, you're gonna lose some of that metallic. And then we're gonna bring that up. And in this case, again, because of the hood, I feel like I'm a cobra. Okay, hooded snake, okay, whatever. It's maybe because the inside of this palette has snake print on it. Okay, pat, 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 and then bring your finger up, kind of into the socket line almost. And then a little bit, move it a little bit towards the inner third, but we're gonna go in with another shade there. So don't worry. Don't forget to blend, especially the top. Going back with the same brush that I used with the transition shade. We're actually going to define the outer V a little bit more. If I was not gonna do the whole look, I would probably skip this part because I am running errands. I'm about to go to Walmart and do some general errands, but I am going out to dinner later with girlfriends, so let's go for the full glam look. So for this, I think she used, actually I have the same brush. It's the BK Beauty 206, and we are gonna go in with the darkest shade in the palette. That's Bedrock. And I'm gonna just kind of stamp it just a little bit, pull it up. And do the same. We're gonna blend, do not worry. Then I'm gonna go back and blend and pull it up a little bit towards the eyebrow. This is what we have so far. This is a glam look. Probably should have led with that. Next, this is a fun shade. This is a Super Shock shadow. So the formulation of this shadow is very different than the rest of the palette. It actually feels a little bit squishy to the touch, so don't jam your finger in there. The shade is called Slated. Right there. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a divot in that because I did smush my hand in there a little too much. And I'm just gonna run my finger, look at the shine, and we're gonna press that. It's very glittery. So again, we're gonna be careful not to smear it around for fallout, especially because I insisted on doing my eye makeup last. And you can definitely layer that up to make it brighter. Look at that. It's really pretty. And I'm gonna kind of overlap a little bit on that other shimmer shade, the Constrictor shade. And again, you can go in with your fluffy brush and kind of just buff that a little bit along the edges. You don't want to move the glitter around though. Now, before we move on to the lash line, I'm going to use another product that was in her bundle that I haven't used anything like this in a very long time. I used to do it all the time. I need to start using it again. And that is a nude colored eyeliner. And this is it's a cream gel liner. And she just popped it into her waterline. It's not as jarring as a white liner, but it really, look at that. I don't know how much you can see on camera, but it makes me look more alive and awake, which I need. I will say that I haven't noticed any fallout with any of the shades I used except the Super Shock Shadow. That is hard to say. So I'm gonna try my best to get it out of there. Okay, let's do the lower lash line. So first, use my pencil brush, and I'm gonna go in with the darker of the two crease shades, Python, right here. And I'm gonna run that along the whole length of my lower lash line. Allie said she did this first because then she's gonna use that lighter shade later to buff the whole thing out. Then we're gonna go in with, I have the same brush she used, another BK Beauty one, and I'm gonna go in with Cold Blooded, which is a little bit different than Constrictor, the same idea. And she wet her brush. This is also part of the bundle. It's a travel size of the setting mist, the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Setting Mist. She just did that in the inner corner, about the inner third. Then she went in with the very first shade we used, Boa. That was our transition shade, the lightest one. And she buffed out the edges. And then just to give some definition to the outer third and to tie in the whole look, I'm trying to find my brush, here it is. She went back in with that darkest matte shade, Bedrock, this dark brown, and she just did the outer third. And there you have it. Now before I go on to the mascara and lipstick, I'm gonna set my whole look. This smells so good. Now that we're done with the eyeshadow, let's move on to mascara. This is the ColourPop BFF Volumizing Mascara in the shade Brownie Points. This was also part of her bundle. I'm gonna just put it on lower and upper lashes, and it's kind of amazing. I didn't think brown mascara would really be enough, but just watch. This is pretty cool. Let's move on to the final part of this look, which is the lips. The last thing that's included in this bundle is this lip gloss. It's a plumping gloss, and it is in the shade She's Here. And again, this is a color I would never look twice at, but Allie loved it. And when I wore this whole look as a sort of trial look on Instagram, when I first got the package in the mail, I got so many questions asking me to recreate that look. Allie created it originally, but here's my go. So she talked about two lip liners, BFF and BFF2. So BFF, and I will say I really like their lip liners. BFF is right there. It's more of a neutral brownie kind of Your Lips But Better. And then BFF2, which is right there, to me is a little pinker and the same concept. It's still kind of a deep shade. Now she used, which one did she use? I think she did use BFF2. Because I sort of have more pink going on today, I'm gonna go with BFF as well. I feel like this one comes across as a little more brown. So let me line my lips really quickly and then we'll slap on the gloss. Okay, here is the So Juicy Plumping Gloss, and it is, I don't think anything really plumps your lips, but it has that tingling feeling to it, but it's not overwhelming like some can be. It's just pleasant. I did wear this gloss, I believe it was in my March favorites video actually. See how that blended together? You wouldn't think it would all go because by itself, see how light that is? You would not think that would work with a darker lip liner, but it does. It is pleasantly tingling, feels minty, but it's not like my lips are on fire. I am going to add a little bit of highlight. I'm pretty sure she did it. This is the highlight that she used. It's the Super Shock Cheek highlighter in Lunch Money. I will admit, after I placed my ColourPop order, I realized I wanted more. I don't know if you're aware, Ulta carries a lot of the ColourPop line, not all of it. But anyway, I'm gonna pop this highlighter into my inner corner. What I like about this is it's a little more golden, so it's a nice balance. And I just got lip gloss in my hair. That is the final look. This is my attempt at recreating the same look that Allie created with her ColourPop That's Taupe bundle. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, everything is listed in the order in which I used it down in the description box, including the brushes and all of that. Thank you, Allie, for being such an inspiration. If you are still not subscribed to her, fix that right away. You will not be disappointed. As for the rest of you, I hope that you pull out either this palette, your Natasha Denona Glam palette, or similar shades and try something a little bit more glam. Step outside your comfort zone. It's a lot of fun. I am off to go shopping at Walmart. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.